expect out of a guy like Colton Schultz, who's looking for NCAA championships and Olympic gold medals. He's trying to be right there with heavyweights of the greats of all time, and is really with Gable Stevenson last year losing to him in the finals. I think that kind of sparked a fire inside him to try and chase greatness. And he did not do bad at all against Gable Stevenson, who's arguably one of the most dominant college wrestlers of all time, had compared last season, arguably one of the most dominant seasons in college wrestling history. So definitely something that he should be proud of, and is going to be chasing the NCAA title once again this season.
Yeah, so that is his 8th fall of the year, the 19th most falls by an Arizona State Sun Devil in a given season is 12 by Tom Ortiz in 1987 and 1988. Still a few weeks left for Colton to get in the top 20 all time for that respective category. But for now, on the mat is Brandon Courtney versus Eddie Flores at 125 pounds. So a very big lead for ASU right now as the team score sits at 19-0. And now Courtney looking for the shot. Flores with the quick sprawl, and now Courtney looking for a tie here or a hook. Both circling around the center of the mat. Flores thought about taking a shot but hesitated, and then Courtney takes a double leg shot, and there's the takedown.
And that's what Courtney does so well, and what has made him, not only with his quickness, but his ability to shoot from distance. You see there, he does the post fake and is able to drop his elevation, get right in on the double, and that's what makes him such a lethal wrestler. Unlike most 125-pounders, like Spencer Lee, one of the most dominant college wrestlers in history, he works more from the tie, whereas Courtney can use his style to his advantage and catch other wrestlers off guard when shooting from distance and creating that separation.
So Flores up on his feet and now gets the escape. Flores trying to get his team on the board, as they have yet to win a bout or get any team points so far. Well, Flores trying to get another shot, but here's Courtney with the sprawl, taking a shot himself, and his second takedown in the first period. It's now 4-1 with just under a minute left in the first.
You can see that one coming a mile away from Flores. He shot in with his chest up, and it was just Courtney coming right around with that slide by, throwing his arm behind, and just easy 2 points right there.
So now Courtney working his way up, trying to get some wrist control, but then a whistle blown with 33.3 seconds left in the first.
And it should be noted that Courtney is a guy who, as with all his success, has only lost one duel this season, and that was to Pat Glory, a guy he's going to be competing with for those All-American spots out in Oklahoma.
But for now, Courtney with a 4-1 lead over Flores, as Courtney looks to add even more riding time as the first period closes out. He's at about a minute 30. For the time being. So there's the buzzer. It's still 4-1 in favor of Courtney after 2 takedowns and an escape by Eddie Flores. And for Flores, a win over Courtney would be a very big deal. According to WrestleStat, Flores has no wins over a top 100 opponent this season except for his medical forfeit defeat of Dean Patterson out of Rutgers. But nonetheless, Courtney getting stuff started quickly at the start of the second period with an escape point over Flores as they now center the circle. Courtney looking for some neck control here. Then pops off, takes a shot, grabs the ankle, and now turning around and getting the another takedown over Eddie Flores there. So now 7-1.
And Courtney, so blood time on Flores, I believe. Yes, it will be. But Courtney on that shot was able to do, once again, his shots have just become smooth, so smooth. And there's always the saying, you got to do something 10,000 times to say that you've perfected it, really. And he's been in the room a long time. With this being his 5th year, he's really just gotten a craft in his skills in those low outside shots and has been able to use his setups. Well, that setup was perfect, and using that arm drag to get to that low single and finish it. He's just really, these Arizona State wrestlers, they are able to win matches that they're supposed to win. At least these guys, the lightweights, and I think that's been a staple of Arizona State, is most of the Big Ten schools, they're going to attract the best upper to middleweight guys. And I think Arizona State is a team that has been able to attract some of the best lightweight talent over the past decade, and that has been evident in guys like Courtney, McGee, and Parco.
So Courtney letting Flores loose here at the start of the second period. Excuse me, halfway through the second. After that restart, so it's 7-2. Now Courtney trying to get Flores down. He gets another takedown.
And Courtney's putting a nice ride together here. You know, lightweights, Courtney, that's something that is going to serve advantageous in the postseason, because that's where riding time matters the most. When there's those low scoring matches, and just a point usually makes the difference in a match. And that's a lagging area that we've seen from Courtney over the years, to be able to compete with some of those stronger, bigger lightweights. So being able to show that, especially here at the end of the season against some lower level guys, and putting nearly 2 minutes of riding time together already in the second period is good to see.
So another stoppage here. Seems like there's a cut on the top of Flores' nose that has reopened a few times. And that seems to be the blood issue in this match. But still 38.9 seconds left in the second period. A 9-2 lead for Courtney. And he has 1 minute and 49 seconds of riding time.
You got to wonder with Courtney this season and his aspirations, with all the accolades he has had, to have a guy in the room who is pushing him this year a lot to keep his job, with Richard Figueroa being 14-0 on the season. That's got to have elevated, and I'm excited to see how that plays out and serves him in the postseason.
Yeah, Richie Figueroa, a guy we've talked about a lot. You know, the #1 pound-for-pound recruit. He was he won bronze at the Pan Am Games just last year. And this year he's undefeated so far when he is out on the mat wrestling. Surely that's got to be a little bit stressful for Courtney as he gets another takedown here.
Courtney just pile drive through those arms. It was looking like that Flores just had his arms right there, but Courtney able to grab wrist control, separate, and just go finish high and arc up the legs, toss him down, get the 2.
So 11-3 headed into the third period. Courtney looking for his 4th straight match win. And it would be, if the results were to stand, it would be his 2nd major decision victory on the season.
And this is coming off a really tough match and critical match against Brandon Kaler of Oregon State. Is going to be, I'm really excited to see that come Pac-12 championships time, the rematch. But that was a big win for Courtney, especially after that. He hasn't faced a whole lot of really tough opponents this year. He faced Pat Glory earlier in the season as he gets the takedown there. But with facing Kaler, that's a guy also reigning All-American from last season. He's going to be a guy that's really going to compete, and we saw in the Pac-12 championships from the year prior, these two guys have some history, and it's going to be really interesting and a lot of energy and emotion in that match.
Yeah, nice ankle pick for Courtney there. Gets him another takedown following the escape from Flores. So now Courtney bringing Flores back to the mat as Flores was trying to get onto his feet. still in bounds as Courtney tries to work inside. But then the referees call for a stalemate. We'll get a restart with 44 seconds left in the third.
And the thing with this CSU team that, well, just based on their dual outcomes is, and just their body language from the few matches that I've seen in the sample sizes, they just don't seem to have that fight in them. They just don't seem to have that will to be able to keep it close. And I'm not saying that they should be competing with these guys like Brandon Courtney or Colton Schultz, none of that, but they just don't seem to have that will to win. And I think they've lost that kind of internal drive just as a result of their continual losses. They're 1-10 on the season, 0-5 at home, 0-4 away, 0-4 in conference. It's been a tough couple of years, and then with the pandemic, it's just been a tough stretch for them. So understandably, they've kind of lost that internal drive, which has ultimately been the detriment to their program.
It won't matter for Brandon Courtney, though, as the senior for ASU gets the win on senior day. Courtney, a very decorated and distinguished ASU wrestler, one of the greats, over 100 career wins. As you mentioned, a national runner-up. He's a 3-time Pac-12 champion. So to be honored once more with a last win here at Desert Financial Arena must feel nice for him.
And a lot of special moments for Courtney here at this arena.